this is going to be the breakdown of this little Mixolydian solo I wrote for one of my students. I figured I'd give you all kind of an insight into what I was thinking of when I came up with it, and what you can get out of it in your own playing. Alright, so we'll just kind of break it down section by section. So I tried to open this up with like a sort of theme that I can kind of build off of a little bit, and it's just going to be kind of like a repetitive type of sort of arpeggio, actually. Here's what it sounds like slow. So it's basically like the notes of like a D7 chord with a couple extra notes in it. That's basically like the root, the 5th, flat 7th, and the 9th right there. And I'm going to do that 3 times. I kind of build this up. And on the 4th time I'll do this. I've now added kind of the 11th in there. And I'm just coming down in this little kind of like staircase sequence. Skipping down, going up, skipping down, going back up, skipping down. And I'll do that whole thing twice. And basically like the structure of that lick right there is kind of like an A-B format. You can think of that when you're writing riffs, but you can also think of it when you're doing smaller licks like this too. So that would be the A part. We'll do that 3 times. That would be the B part right there that we'll do. Alright, so after that section we're going to go into this next melody that we're going to build up. Nice pick scrape at the end. So I just have this basic, these basic notes of like a Mixolydian scale. It's like D Mixolydian, and I'm just kind of giving them a little extra sauce when I'm playing it. So as much like vibrato and slides as you can do. So like any note you can kind of slide into or slide out of, I'm kind of doing just to give it a little bit more expression. This lick also has kind of like an A and a B section to it. So it goes through it the first time. It has this ends with me landing on the 3rd F sharp right here and kind of bending it up. The second time through, I'm going up. I'm going up to the higher F sharp, the octave of that, and bending that one. So very simple way to, again, kind of build a phrase. First time I'm landing on this low F sharp. Second time I'm building up and landing on this higher F sharp here. The next section after that, we're going to start using some open strings. So since this is in the key of D, I can utilize some licks kind of bouncing off of the open D string here. So I'm going to use some more Mixolydian notes here. Again, just kind of building another motif, bouncing off of like the 3rd, bouncing off the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. And then landing on like the flat 7th right here. I like that one going up a bit higher up the scale. It's just kind of an interesting pattern out of a Mixolydian scale that you can use it. I'm just highlighting the flat 7th root, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th right there. Skipping over like the 2nd scale degree, you get this really nice kind of Mixolydian pentatonic scale if you do. I've heard some people call that like the Jeff Beck pentatonic, but I just think of it kind of as like a Mixolydian pentatonic there. And that's going to build up into the next section. I kind of change up the ending of that each time I do it. Sometimes I'll land on the root. Sometimes I'll land on the 5th right there. I'll come down. But on the last one, I like to try to build it up so I get into the next lick. and kind of get into like this nice bluesy lick. Here at the end right there, I kind of did a little bit of like D minor pentatonic. When you're playing in like a Mixolydian mode, a lot of times people are thinking of kind of like a bluesier sound, kind of a blues rock thing. And one sort of idiomatic thing you can get away with when you're playing a lot of rock and blues stuff, you can kind of mix the pentatonics. It's not really the end of the world if you kind of mix your minors with your majors a little bit. So we're playing over, basically D7 through all this. So I can, kind of play with it a little bit and add that F note in there from time to time if I want to, and it's not going to hurt anybody's ears too much. After that, we're going to get into some of the tapping bit. For the idea of this whole solo is to kind of mix a lot of techniques together for my student, so got to throw some tapping in there somewhere. So pretty easy tapping lick actually as far as tapping licks go. I just have another kind of like pedal point type of thing going, so ending on the A note right there, starting on F sharp. This pattern is kind of like a Joe Satriani type of pattern. So I'm starting off with a tap, pulling off to the open string, and then hammering back down. So you get this kind of straight 16th note pattern. Ending right there. When you're tapping that, you want to try to keep it really nice and clean. Try to give it like a nice solid pull off with your right. So you get this nice kind of bubbly sound out of it. After that, we're getting into a picking section right here. What I wanted to do right there is just include like kind of another position of the D Mixolydian scale. So I try to find like a nice basic picking shape that we can do that wasn't like Paul Gilbert speeds right here. So that's just going up the whole scale, starting on F sharp. And then just kind of wrapping up with like a nice pull off. Look at the. And then we're going to get into this slidey bit right here. Next section will be this. That's probably one of my favorite licks from this this whole thing. What's cool right there is just the rhythm of that. This doing this kind of ornament really right there. So the next thing is going to be this kind of like bluesy double stop type of lick. Kind of just a lot of double stops I'm trying to slide into. I love that type of lick at the end there. If you're playing in like a major key, one thing that can be kind of cool sometimes is to bend up a whole step off of the flat third, so you get the fourth scale degree, and I'm just very, very lightly touching on the flat third there. Just kind of bluesy ornament right at the end of that lick. Okay, then we're moving up a little bit higher. That's another cool blues lick. That's hitting the F, but sliding into the F sharp. Cool double stop thing. You can use that in a lot of different places. I'm up in kind of the this kind of box up here, 14th and 15th fret. That part I might change up a little bit as I go through it. I do that a little bit differently each time. We have another kind of repetitive blues lick here. That can almost be like a bass line right there. A lot of bass lines will use that. But we're just doing it in lick form up here. That's almost like an Eric Clapton type of lick right there. Another technique we're going to mix in here, we have like a little bit of tremolo picking here. Rather than just play a single note and tremolo pick it though, we're going to do... we're going to come down, again, the whole Mixolydian scale on the G string this time. So again, thinking kind of more this way on the guitar, if you want to call that vertical or horizontal. I usually think of that as vertical. So I'm just tremolo picking, and I'm doing a quick hammer-on pull-off and a slide down while I'm still tremolo picking. Again, another kind of like Joe Satriani type of idea. And it's a cool sounding lick, but again, that's really to help you learn the Mixolydian scale on the string. Alright, this next lick is one that I borrowed from Steve Vai from his opening to Eugene's Trick Pad. This is again just going right up the D Mixolydian scale. Okay, so we have this pattern where for me I'm just picking and pulling off, and then picking again and pulling off. You can also just do this all legato, all left hand. You can actually probably even get it faster that way. You can also pick all the notes, but I'm doing a combination of the two. So I'm doing basically like this whole step, half step shape here, moving it up. Doing the half step, whole step shape here, and then the kind of double whole step shape here. Last one you have to stretch out a little bit on. I'll hit that last E note right there and slide off of it, and then go into our next lick, which is kind of like a D minor pentatonic lick here. And that uses almost all of just this one kind of whole step pattern right here, where we're doing 8, 10, 8, 10, and we move up a position, then we're doing 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. Just basically right up the D minor pentatonic box shape. Alright, our next lick here is a really common rock lick. Here's what it sounds like. You see this in a lot of different solos. This fits really nicely into the D minor pentatonic box. All I'm doing right here is I'm picking on the 13th fret, pulling off, hitting the G string with a downstroke, and then coming back to the B string with an upstroke. So it's down, pull off, down, up. And we have that going for a few bars. I think there's about 8 repetitions of that. And you can use your pinky on this one. You can do it like 4th finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger. Or you can do what a lot of rock players do, which is use your 3rd finger right here, pull off to your 1st finger, and use your 2nd finger over here. And then I just take that same thing and I move it over here. And then the last lick is this really cool D Mixolydian type of sound. It's kind of a lick I heard in my head first, and I had to like go back and figure out how to actually play that. It's basically just a D7 arpeggio with a little bit of a hint of the 11th in there. Those are just all notes from D7 except for like that little half step that I'm doing, half step bend I'm doing there. Again, a little stretchy. I'm going from 14 to 10 there, and then 13 to 10 on the B string. And that looks a little staggered across the beat too. It's not totally even. It doesn't land on the downbeat each time. And then we have one final lick right here. This nice big bend with lots of vibrato at the end. That's just basically walking up a little bit of the scale right here. That's that kind of Jeff Beck pentatonic again. That's just hitting the flat 7th, the root, the major 3rd right there, 4th, 5th, major third. That feels more like an actual pentatonic shape up there. That's 15, 17, and 20 right there. And then just big bend right at the end. With lots of vibrato on it. As much as you can cram in there. Alright, so thank you all for checking out this video and this solo I wrote for one of my students. Just trying to pack a lot of different techniques in there and try to combine a lot of kind of interesting sounds that you can use. Alright, thanks, and just throw a like or a share on the bottom if you enjoyed this video.